Title: My wife said no touching tonight. So I said no bills tomorrow. It started as another ordinary Thursday night. Or at least, that's what I thought. I came home tired after a 14-hour shift, the kind that leaves your bones aching and your mind numb. The house was quiet except for the faint hum of the TV. Julia sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone, barely glancing up as I walked in. "Hey," I said softly, dropping my keys on the table. She didn't answer right away. Just a distracted, hum. Like my presence was an afterthought. I tried to smile through it. "I brought your favorite takeout," I said, setting the bag down. She didn't even look. It wasn't always like this. There was a time when Julia would run into my arms the moment I came home, when she'd tell me about her day in bursts of excitement. But somewhere between the new job she took and the nights she started spending out with her colleagues, the warmth began to fade. After dinner, I reached out for her hand. She pulled away. "Not tonight, Mark," she murmured, eyes still on her phone. I waited a moment before asking, "You mean not tonight as in you're tired or?" She sighed. "Mark, please. Not tonight. No touching." Her words stung more than I expected. Not because of what she said, but how she said it. Cold, rehearsed, like she'd already been telling someone else the same thing. I leaned back, exhaling sharply. "No touching tonight," I repeated quietly. "Got it." She stood, stretched lazily, and walked toward the bedroom. "Good night," she said flatly. I sat there for a long time, staring at the wall. Something inside me snapped that night, not in anger, but in realization. For months I'd been giving everything. My time, my paycheck, my patience. And all I got in return was silence. So the next morning, when the alarm went off, I didn't make coffee for her like I always did. I didn't transfer the money for the bills either. At noon she called. "Mark, the power's out. Did you forget to pay the electric bill?" I smiled faintly at my desk, staring at my untouched bank app. "No," I said calmly. "I didn't forget." There was silence on the line. Then she whispered, confused. "What do you mean?" I said, "if there's no touching tonight, there's no bills tomorrow." There was a long pause on the phone. The kind where you could almost hear the weight of someone's disbelief pressing through the silence. Then Julia laughed, a short, incredulous sound that didn't reach her voice. "You're joking, right?" she said, her tone sharp now. I leaned back in my chair, still calm. "No, Julia. Not anymore." For years, I had been the one who picked up the pieces, who paid for everything. The house, her car, the insurance, even the luxury spa visits she said were for stress relief. And each time, I convinced myself that love meant providing, no matter how little I got in return. But love isn't one-sided. And I was done pretending it was. "Mark, don't be childish," she snapped. "This isn't funny." "Neither is being treated like I don't exist," I replied. She hung up on me. That evening, I came home to find her pacing in the living room, arms crossed, anger radiating from her like static. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she said as soon as I walked through the door. "Do you realize what you've done? The internet's off, the lights were out for hours." I interrupted her. "You told me no touching tonight. I'm just respecting boundaries, Julia. Yours and mine." Her mouth fell open, caught between disbelief and fury. "You're seriously doing this over that? Over sex?" I shook my head slowly. "This isn't about sex. It's about connection. About respect. You shut me out every night, treat me like a roommate with a wallet, and expect me to keep acting like nothing's wrong." She rolled her eyes, the way she always did when she didn't want to deal with uncomfortable truth. "You're overreacting. You always do." I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I once thought was my home now felt like a stranger renting space in my life. "Am I?" I asked quietly. "Because the way I see it, you stopped being my wife months ago." Her expression shifted. For the first time in a long time, there was something behind her eyes. Not anger, but uncertainty. She took a step closer, her voice softening. "Mark, things have just been stressful, okay? I've had a lot going on." I stared at her carefully. "You mean you've had someone else going on?" Her breath caught, just for a second, but I saw it. That flicker. That involuntary flash of guilt that no lie could cover. My heart sank. Who is he, Julia? For a moment she said nothing. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Only a trembling exhale that told me everything her words couldn't. I'd seen this expression before, not on her, but on the faces of people I'd confronted during my years working in security. The look of someone caught between denial and confession. I don't know what you're talking about, she said finally, her voice shaking just slightly. I gave a faint, humorless smile. Then why do you look terrified right now? She turned away, rubbing her arm nervously. You're imagining things. I nodded slowly. Sure. Then tell me why there's a charge on our joint card for a hotel downtown last Friday. Her head snapped up. You checked my statements? I paid the bill, Julia. That makes it our statement. She didn't speak. The silence between us stretched thin, brittle. And in that silence, I heard more truth than she could ever say aloud. Finally, she whispered. It didn't mean anything. My chest felt tight, but my voice came out steady. They never do they? Tears welled in her eyes. Mark, please. You don't understand. I felt so disconnected. You were always working, and I made a mistake. I almost laughed at the irony. You said you felt disconnected, but you were the one who built the wall between us. Her tears fell freely now. I can fix this. I'll cut it off. I'll do whatever you want. I took a slow breath, feeling both pain and clarity wash over me. I don't want you to fix it, Julia. I just wanted you to care before it came to this. She reached out to touch my hand, but I stepped back. No touching tonight, I said softly, repeating her own words. Her face crumpled, and for a second, I thought she might collapse under the weight of her own regret. I grabbed my coat, walked to the door, and looked back one last time. You wanted freedom, Julia, I said. Now you have it. But freedom comes with its own bills, and I'm done paying for both. When the door closed behind me, it was like exhaling years of resentment. I didn't know where I was going, only that it had to be somewhere new, somewhere that didn't smell like betrayal. 2 days later, she texted me. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long time before typing back a single word. No. Then I turned off my phone, and finally, the lights came back on in my life.